You're muted. You are muted, buddy.
Guys, I'm muted. Hello, how we doing? No, my name is Ryan Mosser. That is one of my best friends in the world, David Cahoon, and this is the Commissioner's Couch Fantasy Football Podcast. Welcome back to the show. You know, another Thursday night, another chance to settle in, kick your feet up, and keep grinding through this 2026 NFL draft class. Hard to believe, but we're officially hit episode 19 overall. Week 6 of season 2, David. Crazy, you know, and the momentum hasn't slowed down for a second, I'd say.
Yeah, it's going full speed ahead. We are, less than a month away from the actual NFL draft?
Oh, man, I'm nervous, man. Whew. I'm excited. I'm nervous. I'm ready to go. If you've been riding with us since, the start of the offseason, you already know how deep this journey has been for us. We opened the year with 2 full weeks on quarterbacks, 6 signal callers each episode, all with their own quirks, ceilings, developmental paths. Then we shifted gears and spent the last 3 weeks diving into these wide receivers, my favorite position of the draft for this year, breaking down, 18 different pass catchers with completely different skill sets and roles. If you missed any of those episodes, please go back and check them out. Every one of them helps paint the full picture of this class. But tonight we pivot again. Tonight we get into a position that always sparks debate, always brings strong opinions, and always reveals who actually watches tape versus who just reads box scores. It's running back week, Dave.
Let's go. Dare I say my favorite position for fantasy football? You muted again, buddy.
Why do I keep clicking the mute button?
I don't know.
Oops. I'll be honest. This is this is part of the draft cycle where I get fired up as well, David. This year's group isn't massive, obviously, but the talent at the top is real, and the upside in the middle of rounds is even more, intriguing in my opinion. You've got, power backs, space players, one-cut runners, pass game specialists, a little bit of everything in this draft. And, the 6 guys we're covering tonight each bring something unique to the table. Here's who we got on the board. We have Jeremiah Love from Notre Dame, Jonah Coleman from Washington, Nicholas Singleton from Penn State, Jadarian Price from Notre Dame, Katron Allen from Penn State, and Emmett Johnson from Nebraska. 6 backs, 6 different styles, 6 completely different projections. Mm-hmm. And just like every week, we're sticking to the same evaluation process, the same trait-based rubrics that I've come up with, the same standards, the same commitment to real scouting. No shortcuts, no narratives, no lazy comps, just honest, detailed breakdowns of what these guys actually put on film. So settle in, grab a drink, get comfortable on the commissioner's couch, because episode 19 is officially underway, and it's time to talk about the 2026 rookie running backs.
Let's go. I
so
love
excited.
Running backs. Oh, man. This is going to be a good year, too, for running backs, I think. They're sneakily good. They're not really getting the national attention like the wide receivers are right now, but I think there's a lot of value to find here.
Yep.
So real quickly before we jump in, if you're not following us, please go ahead and follow us. We're on Instagram. We're on X, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. And then we're also live wherever you get podcasts. So Apple Podcasts, Podbean, Spotify, Audible, Amazon Podcasts,
everywhere,
literally everywhere. So wherever you're at, we're trying to be there. So give us a follow, turn on automatic downloads. You're not going to want to miss this because we're trying to get you an edge up on your fantasy football leagues before we even get to the draft. And so hopefully you're paying attention. And if not, go back and watch the other ones. Yeah. So real quickly, before we jump in, we do have some ads to read. So we are sponsored by the Inside Edge Network. We are part of their network. And our main sponsor for the Inside Edge Network is Alley Rose Fragrances. Discover Alley Rose's collections of handcrafted candles and body mists made with clean, minimal ingredients. Every product is thoughtfully crafted in small batches, free from harmful toxins and for mindful everyday indulgence. Mm-hmm. Head over to alleyrosefragrances.com right now to my screen just literally refreshed.
Head over to
alleyrosefragrances.com right now to order and use special promo code InsideEdge20 to get a special discount on your order. Again, that is InsideEdge20 to get a special discount on your order.
Capital I, capital E there, guys, for sure.
Yes.
Yeah, there you go. Also, we are brought to you by Mosser Moments Photography. They are a husband and wife wedding photography team based in Cleveland who specialize in providing the best wedding photos in Northeast Ohio. Check out their website at mossormomentsphotography.com. That's MOSSOR, momentsphotography.com. You can see it right there on the screen.
All right.
David, how you doing, man?
Dude, I'm good. I am honestly ready to get to the weekend. It was nice today. Finally, the sun came out. It was almost 70, and now we're dealing with tornadoes. So it's great around here.
Take that banner off, bro.
Yeah, I got you.
There you go. Yeah, I hear you. I was home with the boys today and I put the baby down and then went outside with the 2 toddlers and played outside for like 2 or 3 hours. It was a blast, man. And then it got cold and windy and rainy all of a sudden. That's Ohio for you. So
yeah, it is Ohio. But no meteors, so that's a plus.
Oh yeah, we'll find out.
Tune in next week.
Meteor tornado. So
that sounds like a nightmare.
Yeah.
All right. So where are we at in the pre-draft process? So we are in the right smack dab middle of our 9-week process leading up to the NFL draft. Our first 2 weeks, we spent covering the rookie quarterbacks and the incoming quarterback prospects. There's a lot of hidden value there. There's a lot more names than just the Ty Simpsons and Fernando Mendozas. So If you missed those podcasts or videos, go back and watch them. There's a lot of really cool players that you can really get an edge up on, like a Taylon Green, dare I say.
Love them.
And a bunch of other ones too. So go check them out. They're really helpful.
Yep.
And then last week we just finished up our wide receivers. We spent time, as Monster said, going over 18 different prospects for this upcoming draft. And honestly, we probably could have spent more time going over 18 more. There's that many wide receivers that could be really draft eligible and impact players in this upcoming year. And so go watch those. They're really good, really informative, and they will help you get an edge up. But today we are turning to the running backs. And Mosser, why don't you break down how and what we're looking for in these prospects when we're talking about them?
Yeah, I mean, as we move towards the next chapter of the offensive coverage, it's a good moment to recognize how much ground we've ever covered, and David already did that, so that's awesome. I mean, tonight. Sorry, I thought I was reading that part, so I delete that. But tonight we shift to the position, that brings its own set of challenges, set of philosophies and debates. Running backs just don't, complement offense. They shift in shape and identity. They influence structure, dictate tempo, and determine how a coordinator calls a game. And in 2026, this group is interesting to say the least. They have a huge mix of styles, explosive players, downhill bruisers, one-cut runners, multi-purpose weapons, backs who can stay on the field for all 3 downs. It's a position defined by nuance, instincts, and efficiency, and that's exactly why this class is so compelling. Before we get into the individual players, it is important to lay out how I personally evaluate the position because of, my running back rankings aren't built on box score productions or highlight reel runs. They're built on, a full scouting model I've spent years refining, a weighted, graded system designed to isolate, traits that actually translate to the NFL from college. The rubric looks at, how backs see the field, their vision, their ability to anticipate leverage, how they manipulate defenders, and how they process run concepts. It measures their burst, acceleration, agility, and long speed. Evaluates their contact balance, their power, their ability to finish runs. It counts for receiving skill, pass protection, alignment versatility, and it incorporates measurables and athletic testing to contextualize how a player's physical profile fits in today's league. Every category has a purpose, every score has a weight, and every evaluation is tied to what win on Sundays, not what looks good on the stat sheet. And just like with the receivers, this isn't a mock draft. I'm not projecting where these players will be selected or how teams might value them. I'm grading the tape, the traits, the decision making, the movement patterns, the functional athleticism. Sometimes that matches consensus, sometimes it doesn't. That's the point. The goal is to build a consistent, repeatable process that identifies which backs can actually hold up in an NFL backfield. With all that in place, I think it's time to dig into these 6 running backs we've covered tonight, man. Again, 6 different styles, different roles, different players who each bring something unique to this class. Go ahead and start, David. Let's get on with number 1, brother.
Number 1.
Number 1.
Number 1, this should not be any surprise to anybody at all, but that would be Jeremiah Love, running back out of Notre Dame. All right, Mosser, give me a breakdown. Where is he at on your list of running backs?
You're not going to believe this. He is my number 1.
No, what? He's my number 1 too.
Yeah.
Wow.
There you go.
Shocker. Wow.
Wow.
All right, so give us a little bit of a glimpse of who Jeremiah Love is. He obviously, we know that he tore it up last year at Notre Dame, has this really prolific draft profile heading into the NFL draft. But what did his college career look like?
Yeah, I mean Jeremiah Love is one of those prospects whose resume reads exactly like the tape. He's explosive, he's polished, he's ascending every single year as well. He came into Notre Dame as a high end recruit with legitimate track credentials and the speed to shows up immediately on the field. His freshman year was more rotational, but even then you could see the trades. You saw his stride efficiency, the patience, the ability to hit a crease before a defense can even realize it was there. And once he earned a bigger role, he took off. In 2024, he put up 163 carries for 1,125 yards, averaged 6.9 yards per carry with 17 touchdowns, plus 28 catches, 237 yards, and 2 more scores through the air. I mean, that alone is a breakout season in itself. Absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
Then he followed it even, better with 2025, 199 carries, 1,372 yards, and 18 touchdowns. Another 27 receptions, 280 yards, and 3 more receiving touchdowns. That's just not just production. That's absolute dominance. And the best part is, how he got there. He didn't rely on raw athleticism. He became more patient. He became more decisive and, more complete every season. Notre Dame coaches raved about his maturity and how, quickly he absorbed coaching. He walked in as an athlete and walked out as a fully formed running back ready for the NFL day one. So,
yeah, he's definitely ready to hit the ground running, pun intended. So you talk about like his growth and how he had that breakout season and then just followed it up by just smashing it out of the park this last year. Yeah. How would you, I guess, kind of say, how would he have grown from the start of his college career to now? What would be like the one thing that you think you probably saw that's helped him grow?
I think just patience. He knew exactly, he learned where he wanted to go with the ball, and then he became patient with it. Before his freshman year and maybe even a sophomore year, he relied on athleticism more than his intellect. And I think combining the both really made him the pure back that he is today. So
yeah, that's good. Yeah. All right. So when we talk about an archetype or a mold, how would you describe what he is? Because I feel like he's so talented that it might be a little bit hard. But how would you try your best to categorize it?
He's the definition of a modern 3-down weapon. He's not just fast, he's controlled. He plays with a tempo that lets him read leverage, manipulate defenders, and then explode through space like he's shot out of a cannon. He's built for today's NFL. He can run, ride zone with patience. He can hit gap schemes with decisiveness. He can flex out and run real routes. His hands are incredible for a running back. He can turn a routine handoff into a 40-yard gain because of his acceleration is absolutely different. We saw that in the combine as well. Yeah. He's a smoother runner with elite burst. He's not reckless either. He's everything with him is efficient. Everything, the footwork, the pacing, the transitions. He's the kind of back who can, stay on the field for every situation and force defenses to account for him on every single snap. And that is crazy for an NFL running back today.
Yeah, I agree. He's also just so fluid. I feel like whenever he's like running or trying to juke somebody out, he just looks smooth doing it. Looks effortless in a sense. All right, so give us a little breakdown on his categories. What are some of his strengths? What are some of his weaknesses?
His strength, I mean, they jump off the screen. His vision and processing is absolutely elite. He sees the field like a veteran, front side, backside, leverage, flow, all of it. He sees it all. He rarely makes the wrong read, which is amazing. His burst and acceleration as well. His 1.55 split and his 4.3640 from the combine aren't just numbers. They match the tape and they just solidify, that, he hits top gear instantly. His contact balance, he's definitely not a bruiser, but he's very, very stable. Glancing blows don't move him. He's consistently finishing forward. His receiving ability, I think specifically in the NFL, is going to be a huge strength of him. He runs real routes. He catches naturally. He's got soft hands. He becomes a problem after the catch as well. Scheme versatility, there's no system I don't think he can fit in either. So he's literally a plug and play in 32 teams in the NFL. As for weaknesses, they're minor for sure. He's not a pure power back. He's strong, yes, but he's not through linebacker's chest the way like a 230 pounder might, and in pass protection, he's willing. Excuse me. I'm sorry. He's willing and approving improving in that, but he's still developing the anchor to stonewall NFL blitzers, especially those large ones. I think the biggest challenge early on for him is just adjusting to the NFL defensive speed. He's used to outrunning angles and still will in the NFL, but the windows close faster for the next level. The good news is his processing is so advanced that he'll adapt quickly. I'm not worried about him at all.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not worried about him at all either. So I guess moving into like fantasy football focus, why does this type of a prospect matter for fantasy football?
Dude, he's the kind of running back who changes fantasy leagues. I mean, I feel like every year we talk about this generational prospect. Every year, last year was Genty. He's better than Genty. I hate to break it to you. I'm sorry.
Okay, I was going to ask you. So
you love Genty. He's so much better than Genty. Hopefully, he gets in a better opportunity than Genty did. Of course, with the Raiders, that offensive line is atrocious. No quarterback. So Genty had a decent rookie running back rookie year, but not to what a lot of fantasy managers expected. But he checks every box that you want in a high-end fantasy asset. The 3-down ability, the explosive playmaking, the receiving true upside, the goal line usage that I think he's going to have the potential to just have a ton of goal usage, the scheme versatility. He's got immediate starter traits. He's not, a wait and see prospect. He's someone who can walk into an NFL building and take over a backfield. His combination of vision, burst, receiving ability to give him both a high floor and a massive ceiling. I think if he lands in in an offense that values spacing and uses the running back, in the passing game, he has a legitimate running back one fantasy upside as a rookie. Long term, he's the best running back prospect I've evaluated since Saquon Barkley. So there you go.
All right, so I have to ask you, since you brought up like running back prospects. 3 years ago, we had 2 really good prospects coming out in Bijan Robinson and Jahmyr Gibbs.
Yeah.
How would you rank the 3 of them? So Jeremiah Love, Jahmyr Gibbs, Bijan Robinson.
Bijan 1, Gibbs 2, Love 3 in that order. I'm not saying specifically in fantasy, but the 3 players you gave me in that order. Okay. I want to see where he lands first. Obviously, there's some ideal spots, but in terms of I don't throw it around lightly. Can't miss prospects. He is a can't miss prospect. So,
all right. Well, that is good for fantasy football.
And he's, like I said, he's scheme versatile. So he can plug and play on any team. So, yeah.
All right. Well, what other summary you've got before I jump into my player comp that I've got for him?
I mean, he projects as a true 3-down NFL running back with immediate starter potential and long-term running back one upside. Like I said, his blend of vision, burst, long speed, and I'm telling you, his receiving ability is so fun to watch. So fun. Give him one of the most complete profiles of any back in recent memory, definitely in recent years. He fits seamlessly into wide zone, gap, spread-based offenses, and he brings the kind of explosive playmaking that forces defenses to adjust their structure. With his instincts, acceleration, versatility, dude, he's got the ceiling to become a Pro Bowl level feature back early in his career. I'm talking year 1, year 2. And he's, like I said, the best running back prospect that I've evaluated since Saquon Barkley. So he's my RB1. He checks every box. He wins in every phase. I mean, he brings traits that I think you can't coach. And I think, like I said, he's the closest thing that we've had to a true blue chip running back in a long time.
Yeah. All right. Well, speaking of true blue chip running backs, my player comp that I've got for him is a blue chip running back.
Okay.
That would be LaDainian Tomlinson, all the way back from the San Diego Charger days. LaDainian was just somebody who ran so smooth. He was one of those, I feel like, early running backs that also could play well in the pass game too. And somebody who just dynamic with the ball in his hands, and it didn't matter how he got it. Talk about like just an every down back, a bell count back that was just fluid, shifty, smart, like reliable. That is who Jeremiah Love is. I feel like there's so much similarities between their games that it almost seems like a perfect comp in my mind. And so
I like it.
When we're talking landing spots for fantasy football, I feel like there's one landing spot in particular, and we might disagree on this.
Are you going to be realistic here? Because he's going to be a top, let's say,
I'm being realistic.
15. Okay.
Yeah. We might disagree on this, but I think this is going to be an absolute home run of a landing spot if he lands there.
Okay.
Do you want to try and guess?
I know my home run. I don't know if it's the same. You want me to give you mine?
Yeah, let me hear yours.
The Washington Commanders.
It's a good one, but that's not what I picked.
Okay, go ahead.
I picked the Tennessee Titans.
I hate it. I love it and I hate it. Go ahead.
Yeah, so you talk about an offense that's still learning and growing and trying to develop into their own identity. They have that second-year quarterback coming back in Cam Ward. They have the wide receiver pieces in my mind. They've got Calvin Ridley, Elike Manor. They have what's his face that they just signed, Robinson.
Yeah, Wandale.
So Wandale. Thank you. And so they've got pieces around them. They have a decent offensive line. They could probably still add to that. But really what they're missing is that run game to take some pressure off of a Cam Ward. And so you bring in somebody like a Jeremiah Love who can be that bell cow back from day one. That's just going to add a huge amount of relief to that whole offense as a whole. He's somebody who can be relied upon to like get that yardage when they need it for first downs. He can be relied upon for just little dump check down passes for Cam Ward to get him going into a rhythm and routine. He's just a dynamic playmaker that offense I really feel like is the one key missing piece for that offense.
Yeah, and I feel like they would love to run the ball. I mean, their last major draft pick at the position was obviously Derrick Henry, and then they're licking their chops to try to find someone at the position who can do anything. So, I mean, Jeremiah Love absolutely would be a home run there. Hopefully they would feature him. Personally, I would rather have Washington just for dynasty's sake and, my team lining up and stuff. But nonetheless, I mean, sure, give him Tennessee Titans, he'd be an RB 3 to 5 immediately. So give it to him.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens draft night too, because I feel like he might be a player that teams may try to trade up for. To get ahead of Tennessee.
Yeah, it's just ahead of Tennessee at 4. I don't know, dude.
Yeah,
I mean, crazy.
The Cardinals could trade back and try and collect more draft capital.
Trade up into the top 4 for a running back would be just unusual to say the least. But I see it for sure. So, but I don't know if it's gonna happen.
We'll find out here in a month,
I guess.
All right, number 2.
Number 2, bro.
Number 2.
That would be our dear friend Jonah Coleman. We actually
never met this guy in our lives.
He's a good dude. Running back from Washington. I have him as my number 4 ranked running back. What is he ranked on your?
He is my number 2.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Yep. Little disagreement here. It's not that big of a gap in my mind. There's a huge gap from Jeremiah Love to everybody else in the running back categories. So it's like.
And mostly just Jeremiah Love and the NFL running back. Yeah.
All right. So give us a little bit of a background on Jonah Coleman. He was at Washington last year. What did his college career look like?
Yeah, he had an interesting path. He started his career at Arizona, and even as a young player in a crowded backfield, he flashed that, that rare combination of density and short area quickness. You could tell early on that he wasn't built like a typical Pac-12 back. He was thicker. More compact and, played with a level of physicality that jumped off the screen. As his role expanded, so did his impact. In 2022, he gave them 372 yards and 4 touchdowns on limited touches. By 2023, he exploded for 871 yards at 6.8 yards per carry plus 283 receiving yards. That was the first real sign that he wasn't just a bruiser, that he had actual legitimate versatility, when he started catching the balls out of the backfield. Then in 2024, he became one of the most efficient runners in the conference. 193 carries, 1,053 yards, 10 touchdowns, and then another 177 yards receiving. Then he transferred to Washington, where he didn't just fit in. He became, honestly, the engine of that offense. In 2025, he posted 758 yards and 15 touchdowns, plus 354 receiving yards on 31 catches. I think that's a complete workload. That's a player who can handle volume, create after contact, and contribute in the passing game. His growth is what stands out to me, I think. He went from a rotational spark plug to a full-fledged workhorse who could carry on an offense. Every year he added something new, better vision, better conditioning, better footwork. He's one of the most battle-tested backs in this class, I think. You're muted this time. We are fun. We're having a good time.
We're doing great over here. No, I agree. I think that when I was watching his tape, he seemed like the little engine that could is like a good way I described him. His feet were always constantly moving, churning, trying to get more yardage. He was somebody who was really good in the zone scheme. But yeah, his heart, I think, is really where it's like evident on the tape. So you talk about an archetype. How would you describe his mold?
Yeah, I forgot to say he's also 5'8" and 220, just for comparison. He's a compact sledgehammer, dude, with surprising finesse, I would say. He's built built very low to the ground, thick through his hips and his thighs, and runs like a guy who understands exactly how to use that leverage for his advantage. He's a downhill specialist who thrives in tight spaces, gap, duo, inside zone, anything that lets him square up and drive through contact. But the twist is, for a 220-pound back, he's shockingly light on his feet, I would say. His short area quickness is real, and I think that will translate to the NFL well. He can make subtle cuts in traffic, redirect without losing balance, and slip through creases that most backs don't even attempt his size, I would say. He's the definition of a density runner, compact, powerful, built to punish defenders, but he pairs it with enough agility to keep linebackers guessing. He's not a home run hitter, but he's a chain mover who consistently keeps an offense ahead of schedule.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that's good. So let's talk through what his strengths and weaknesses are. What do you think might be like his biggest challenge as he adapts and transitions into the NFL?
Yeah, he's not going to scare anyone with long speed. That's probably one of his weaknesses. He's efficient, but definitely not explosive. Also, not a natural route runner. He can catch the ball, but he's not going to be flexed out like a receiving specialist, someone like Jeremiah Lovewell. His biggest challenge at the next level, I think, will be proving that he can be more than an early down hammer. The league values versatility, and while he's improving as a receiver, he'll need to show that he can be a consistent third down option to avoid being pigeonholed. But on the contrary, his contact balance is borderline elite, I would say. He absorbs hits like they're nothing. Glancing blows, they don't move him either, and he even square shots don't ever knock him off his path. He's got great natural level for pad level and leverage, decent short area quickness, and he's got fantastic vision in tight spaces, and he's great at pass protection as well. He's probably one of the most advanced protectors in this class, which that will keep him on the field for sure if he can pass protect. So
yeah, I agree. So let's talk through his summary. How does this matter for fantasy football? What kind of role can he carve out for himself here in year one?
Yeah, it just depends where he lands in a system. I would say he could be a cheat code for fantasy if he lands in the right system. He's built for volume, short yardage, red zone, early downs, clock killing drives. Coaches love backs like this because they can stabilize an offense, I would say. From a fantasy perspective, what matters is he's a touchdown machine. I mean, you saw that in college. His frame and running styles scream gold line usage, and that's huge for fantasy. He's efficient. He doesn't need 25 touches to produce. He can give you 80 yards and a score on 15 carries, and that's a decent fantasy day. He's reliable, I would say. Coaches trust him in pass protection, and once again, that will keep him on the field over a lot of other not running back trees, but over a lot of other running backs, just because he's got the body who can be in there and be an additional blocker. And that's huge, especially in the passing game. He's got a high floor, even if it's not necessarily, if he's not like the explosive play guy, he still, will bring steady points every week. And that type is invaluable for fantasy. If he lands in the right run centric offense, think like gap heavy, physical, downhill, he's got legitimate RB1 upside. At worst, I think he's a rock solid RB2 who never, leaves their lineup. He's my running back 2 in the class for a reason. I don't think he's flashy, but he's definitely effective, and effective backs win in fantasy leagues all the time. So. Yeah. I think that reliability is a good word to describe him too. He's somebody who says, "Hey, you need 4 yards? I'll go get you 4 yards." He'll get you 5 because he's just that good.
He'll churn. Yeah, that's true. He'll keep his feet moving. All right. So my player comp that I've got for him, it's somebody who I actually loved in fantasy football and held on to for a little bit too long. And somebody who had a very similar frame. What'd you say?
I said, okay, I'm listening. Sorry.
And that player was Devonta Freeman from the Atlanta Falcons.
Man, you love Freeman. That's so
I
funny.
loved Freeman. He was I loved him. It was like weird because his prime in fantasy football was right when like I started to actually be good in fantasy football. And so
I don't know if you've ever been good at fantasy football.
Okay. I've won our dynasty league before. Okay. So Devonta Freeman, talk about somebody who is a reliable yard churner, maybe not the biggest breakaway speed, wasn't very efficient in the passing game, but was somebody who scored a lot of touchdowns. And so I think that really translates well to Jonas Coleman's game. He's smart. He's somewhat patient. He's a yard grinder. He's not really afraid to go and get his nose dirty to go get that extra yard, to go get that touchdown.
Yep.
So when we talk about ideal landing spots for fantasy football, this one I think is a home run landing spot for him, because I feel like this offense needs somebody like this that can churn those yards to get those easy goal line touchdowns. And that would be the Washington Commanders. You talked about them last player. But yeah, the Commanders, they have a really good offense. They got a dynamic passing game. Jaden Daniels is really efficient with his legs, and so I'm sure you can do some fun read option with that. But they need somebody who can be relied upon in that running game to be like, hey, you need 4 yards, I'll go get you 5, and go score the touchdown for you in the red zone. And I think Jonah Coleman can be that for this offense. It might be a little bit crowded in that running back room. They've got a couple of guys that they're hopeful on.
Bill Krosky-Merritt, who averaged like 2.2 yards per carry last year, and Austin Eckler, who tore every single thing in 55 years old.
I think they signed
Chris Rodriguez. I don't even know who else they have.
I think they signed somebody else this offseason.
I don't think it's that crowded. I think you would win.
But I agree with you. It's not that crowded. But yeah, I think somebody like Jonah Coleman can come in and compete right away for snaps.
He'd win that job.
Get the job. And so I like that landing spot personally for fantasy football. But we'll see what
I
happens.
just want a good running back with the Commanders. They deserve it, and so does my fantasy teams. So
yes,
I have a lot of stock on Jaden Daniels right now, guys. Okay, I'm freaking out a little bit. We need some weapons. Give him Jeremiah Love. I love him. He's great. All right. We have an ad here. Dave, you want to drop it?
Yeah. So as we've said in our last episode, the Inside Edge Network has been growing rapidly here. And so we've got a lot of fun sponsors for our community here. And this first one is coming to you from Fanatics.
Very grateful.
Hey, everyone. This is David from the Commissioner's Couch podcast. Fantasy football fans, you found the #1 destination for all the officially licensed football gear you will need this NFL season. The NFL shop from Fanatics.com features sportswear and accessories from brands like Nike and New Era, as well as NFL coolers, so you can head to the tailgate repping your team. If you're looking to add to your collection of tailgate gear, you need to check out our grilling items and coolers. With official player jerseys, polos, and hats, we've got enough gear to keep you repping your favorite NFL team throughout the whole season. Go to Fanatics.com by using the QR code on the screen right now to celebrate your fantasy football teams. Again, that's Fanatics.com, or use the QR code on the screen to buy all the gear you need to rep your team. Good luck. All right. So we're going to have the good luck in fantasy football and Fanatics stuff. We're going to have the QR code right here above me throughout this next part of the
It's on the other side. You keep pointing.
There
you go. Yeah.
For this next part of the podcast. And so if at any point you want to scan something, please scan it to purchase anything. Yep. Go to Fanatics.com. It'll be
Fanatics has some great stuff there too. So I'm not just saying that because they're sponsoring our podcast, but genuinely I bought plenty of stuff from Fanatics.com. They have
I've gotten so many hats there and so many hoodies. It's it's a great spot.
So go check them out.
All right, so number 3.
Number 3.
Number 3, my lord. Number 3. That would be Nicholas Singleton, running back for Penn State. All right, where do you have him ranked on your board?
He's my running back 3. I'm going in order here so far.
Oh, running back 3. Okay, I have him as my number 7 running back.
Not bad.
Yeah, still in the top 10, but a little bit on the lower side. I like Nick Singleton. I do. He's just not in the top 5 for me. But
I hear you.
Right on the border. Okay. All right, so he was the running back in Penn State. Tell me what his college career looked like. What was it like being in a backfield that was kind of split between 2 running backs, and how did he really separate himself?
Yeah. Nicholas Singleton, 6 foot. 219 pounds. He is my running back 3 on my big board. He came into college with, more hype than almost any running back in the country. Everyone who followed, high school football knew about Nicholas Singleton. And he lived up to it, from day one, I would say. He was Gatorade National Player of the Year, a blue chip recruit, and the centerpiece of Penn State's backfield the moment he arrived on campus. The freshman, his freshman season, he set the tone. 156 carries, 1,061 yards, averaging 6.8 yards per carry with 12 touchdowns, plus another 85 receiving yards. That is not normal production for a first year, back in the Big Ten. That's truly, I think, a star announcing himself to the college football. In 2023, he took on a heavier workload, 171 carries, 752 yards, and 8 touchdowns. Added on another 308 receiving yards. The efficiency dipped a little bit, but the versatility grew for sure. He became more involved in the passing game. He started, showing the patience and footwork that weren't always there early. And then 2024 happened, his most complete season, 172 carries, 1,099 yards, 12 touchdowns, plus another 375 receiving yards and another 5 receiving touchdowns. That's a true 3-phase workload,
Oh, yeah.
Last year before the injury, obviously, he still produced 23 carries, 549 yards, 13 touchdowns, another 219 receiving yards. The volume was obviously lower, but the scoring efficiency remained elite. His growth arc is clear. He entered college as a pure athlete, and he left as a polished, multi-dimensional running back with legitimate NFL traits. Yes, he shared the backfield with Kaytron Allen. We'll talk about him later. But for a 1-2 duo, they are probably the best in the country this past year. Think like TreVeyon Henderson, Quinshon Judkins at Ohio State in 2024. That's what they were trying to emulate this past year, and I think they did it just without the national pedigree because Penn State sucked. So
what a disappointing season that they had. But oh well. So I feel like the one thing we have to talk about with Nick Singleton is injury. There's been some injury concerns throughout his college career. What has that looked like, and how is that going to be a factor as he transitions into the NFL?
I don't know about his whole career. I don't think there's been a significant necessarily injury his whole career.
That's fair.
But he did get injured at the Senior Bowl, and I think that's significant. But it's also one understood, that the injury has a strong recovery track record. He's already out of the boot and progressing. So he should be ready for training camp. I think it was his 4th metatarsal on one of his foots. I have a metatarsal injury and it sucks. So basically, if you think of a foot, think of like the ball of your foot. Yep. That's where your metatarsal is, and mine's an awful pain. So I couldn't imagine actually breaking it. Mine's just pulled or whatever. It's been hurting for months. So God, Lord, I feel bad for this guy, especially as a running back, because I'm a hiker and I'm a baby. I can't hike right now. This guy's trying to play football. So but they're saying he should be ready for training camp. Obviously the draft impact is real. Teams get nervous about foot injuries, especially in running backs. Medical grades matter. Some front offices will probably drop him simply because they didn't get to see him test. I think a team picking later could land a top-tier athlete at a discount here. If he returns to full speed and all the signs point to that, someone is going to walk away with a steal. I think this is a temporary setback, not a long-term concern. So,
yeah, no, I agree. And it sucks that the timing of it all, because he was really on the ascension last year, it felt like. But yeah. So talk about the archetype and the mold for him. What does he fit into as a running back style?
Yeah. So when he's all healed, we're going to assume he's healed on an NFL roster and ready to compete. He's a long striding accelerator with, I think, rare top end speed for his size. He's built like a classic feature back. He's tall, he's powerful and explosive, but he moves like, a track athlete as well. So it's a weird mix here. His running style is all about glide, momentum, an angle erasing acceleration. He's the type of back who can stretch the defense horizontally, force linebackers to overrun their fits, and then slice vertically with a single decisive plant. When he gets into open field, he looks, like the turf is tilted downhill almost. Defenders are chasing and they're not closing. I think he fits beautifully in a wide zone and spread system, but also is dangerous in gap schemes because once he clears the first wave, he's gone, guys. He's a big play machine with the frame of and athleticism to be a true 3-down option in the NFL.
Yeah, I agree. He is very downhill oriented
Yeah.
runner. He almost looks just like I think you mentioned this, a track runner almost. Once he like finds a space and goes, like he's good to go.
Yeah.
So what are some of his like weaknesses and ways that he can grow as he transitions into the NFL?
Weaknesses, he's not a pure power runner. Obviously, in his foot right now is a weakness too, but
Yes.
he'll definitely break arm tackles, but he's not someone who's going to consistently run through, square hits. His contact balance is good, but it's definitely not elite. And his pass projection is still definitely developing. He's definitely willing, but he's inconsistent and needs to work on his anchor as well. I think the biggest challenge early on will be adjusting to tighter windows. College defense gave him space. NFL defenses won't give him as much space. He'll need to, trust his reads and stay disciplined rather than relying solely on athleticism. But in terms of his strength, I mean, he's got explosive and long speed. He hits his top gear faster than probably any back in this class. Safeties have to take super deep angles just to survive. He's got great stride efficiency. He can cover ground effortlessly. He's got improved vision. Early in his career, he relied on athleticism. Later, I think, he became far more patient and disciplined. And he has a true upside for receiving growth. He did turn into a legitimate pass game contributor, not just, screens, but, anger routes, swings, check downs with actual real yards after catch potential. So I just have to work on that. And then his versatility as well. I think he can function in multiple run schemes without losing effectiveness as well, kind of like Jeremiah Love. So.
All right. Great. Well, how does this transition to fantasy football? What is the summary for him and how can he be productive in year one?
He's the definition of a fantasy swing pick. I think he's the kind of player that can tilt leagues if he hits, and I think he's going to hit, guys. I truly think this injury is not a permanent setback, just very, very temporary. And I think a lot of people are going to get happy with a huge steal this year in the draft because people are going to be concerned about that injury. He's got explosive plays, I think, which are fantasy gold. He can score from anywhere on the field. He's got receiving upside, which for a lot of formats, PPR and things like that, is important. He's not just a runner. He is a legitimate pass game weapon. Great touchdown potential. He's got great size and speed, which would make him a natural red zone threat. Excuse me. And then his high ceiling as well. Give him a system, wide zone or spread system, and I think he could be an immediate RB1. Like I said, the injury is going to push him down draft boards a little bit, but that's where fantasy managers can capitalize. You're gonna be buying a premium athlete at a discount, and I wholeheartedly believe that. So
yeah, I agree. His athleticism is one of his best strengths, and I think he should transition well to the NFL. I think one of my concerns might be just longevity of his career. I think you look at players like a Sony Michel, who did really well for a couple of years and then kind of transitioned out of his NFL career because he had a lot of injuries and couldn't keep up. Not saying that that's how it's going to go, but I can see that potential for his like baseline as a career and a running back in the NFL. Yeah. And so I think my player comp that I've got for him when we're talking fantasy football wise of how he can be utilized and be really good would be a David Johnson. Somebody who can run downhill really, really well. Somebody who's got a little bit bigger of a frame, but still has that athleticism to run. What?
I was going to say, which version?
That's
the good version?
Yes, the good version of David Johnson. And so, yeah, somebody who can be explosive in the run game. May not be ever like elite, but just can be consistently good throughout the years and be, somebody that an NFL team relies on.
I don't know. So, David Johnson was pretty elite for a couple of years.
For like 2, he was good. I don't know if I'd say elite.
He was a top 5 running back in fantasy football for a couple of years. But then he fell way down.
So when we talk about ideal landing spots, I think wherever Nick Singleton goes, he's going to be needed to be in a room that's not completely formed just yet. And so there's only a handful of spots in the NFL where I feel like that would fit for him. And that, I think the top one for him would be the Houston Texans. You talk about an NFL running back room that's still trying to figure out what they're doing. Yes, they made a trade for David Montgomery earlier this offseason, the aging veteran that he is, who's a reliable runner. I think he could mentor and learn. Nick Singleton can learn from somebody like a David Montgomery as the season starts and kind of get his feet wet while still getting some reps and carries, but then kind of be more of a split backfield to start the year with a David Montgomery. I think he could be a really, really beneficial runner for that offense because he's not going to be needed to be a part of the passing game. He can pick up some blocks and blitzes, but just be somebody who can just focus on running through the hole that he sees in front of him and burst through the seams. And so I think the Texans might be a good landing spot for him.
David Montgomery owners are dying in their grave right now, rolling over, man. They're pissed that he finally is free, and then they're going to draft Nicholas Singleton to take his job.
Hey, I think if you can kind of like try and rebuild that like dynamic duo that they had in Detroit, in Houston with Nick Singleton and David Montgomery, that could be really dynamic.
Great for football, not great for fantasy, I would say.
And that's fair. That's fair. All right. Shall we jump into number 4?
Let's do it, bro.
Number 4.
Number 4, that is our guy, Jadarian Price.
Our guy?
I like him. Do you like him?
Yeah. What do you have him ranked as?
I have him as my number 2 running back.
All right. He is, we're close. He's my RB13.
Yep, I had a feeling.
Yep.
I had a feeling. I was like, he's going to be really low.
Yep.
I just have a feeling.
Yep. Jadarian Price, Notre Dame running back, my RB13, 5'10" and 5'8", 203 pounds, ran a 4.49 40. Yeah. So I mean, Jadarian Price he's interesting, I would say. Okay. His career didn't follow a straight line. Okay. He came to Notre Dame as a highly graded 4-star recruit with a reputation for versatility and natural fluidity. Early on, he looked like he was going to carve out a role immediately. Then, he had an Achilles injury that slowed everything down. To his credit, he didn't disappear, though. He rebuilt himself piece by piece. And by 2024 and 2025, he is back to looking like the player that Notre Dame originally recruited. His projection reflects that climb. 2023, 47 carries, 272 yards and 3 touchdowns. Also had 5 catches for 65 yards and a receiving touchdown. Then 2024 is where he popped off. 120 carries for 746 yards and 7 touchdowns. And then 2025, 113 carries, 674 yards and 11 touchdowns. Then added 6 catches, 87 yards and 2 receiving touchdowns behind our consensus RB1, Jeremiah Love. Yeah. The numbers don't scream, obviously, workhorse, but they do show efficiency, explosiveness, and a player who maximized his touches behind a premier running back. His coaches consistently praised his maturity and how he handled adversity, which he's obviously showed a lot with that Achilles injury and being behind the premier running back in Jeremiah Love. But he's still one of those guys who definitely grew into the role rather than being handed it. He definitely fought back and fought for that role. So
yeah, absolutely. I think it's so interesting how there's been so many stories, especially this past couple of years, of running backs that have come out in tandems almost. It's like, hey, this whole committee's coming out in the draft. Pick your favorite one. Right. Like you can think back to Sony Michel, Nick Chubb. Last year, I feel like there was another duo.
Judkins and Henderson.
Yes, thank you, from Ohio State. And then this year, there's 2 sets of them from Penn State and from Notre Dame. And so it's interesting to see how this has kind of become a trend recently in the college draft. So you talk about archetyped. Let me hear what kind of mold that Price fits into for you.
Yeah, he's a space-driven runner with a smooth, controlled style. He's definitely not a battering ram. He's got a lot of rhythm. He thrives when he can read leverage. He can glide laterally and then accelerate once he finds daylight. He fits the mold of a modern all-purpose back who excels in outside zones, spreads, RPO-based systems. He's patient early, I would say, sudden when he needs to be, and transitions from footwork to burst without a lot of wasted motion, which will be great in the NFL. He's slippery more than he is powerful. Definitely, I think defenders rarely get a very clean shot on him. He's the type of back who complements an offense rather than, it's one that defines it. Put him in space, let him read flow, and he'll give you an efficient, explosive play on a couple of touches. So
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I like to describe him as like sneakily twitchy. Like he's not the type of person who's like has a freakish twitch that's going to make you juke out of your shoes, but he's like still sneaky, like, hey, I'll make you miss. But it's not going to be as like jaw dropping as some other players have been.
Right.
And so he's still got, I think, some good moves to really make people miss. So we talk about strengths, weaknesses for Price. What do you think will be one of his like biggest challenges as he transitions to the NFL?
He's not a power runner.
Mhm.
He'll survive contact, but he's not somebody who consistently runs through square hits. Like I said, his anchor and pass protection is definitely still developing, and that shows on tape. He's not the type of back you want taking 20 carries between the tackles by far. His biggest challenge, I think, in the NFL will be proving that he can handle a consistent workload. I think he's a finesse leaning player in the league that demands physicality. He'll need to show that he can hold up in pass protection and create yards when when the blocking isn't perfect. But he does have great vision, great patience. His lateral agility is fantastic. He can string cuts together without losing balance. He's got a very good short area burst, 1.61 split, and a decent 40, 4.49. He can accelerate quickly once he commits, I would say. Good receiving ability. He's one of the more natural pass catchers in this class, and can track the ball well and actually run a legitimate route tree. And he's got decent scheme versatility as well. So.
Yeah, I agree. I think his vision definitely showed up on his tape. He's somebody who saw where the play was developing and was able to go find that hole and get to it. He's a good downhill runner too, I thought. So when you talk about fantasy football, how can he be relevant in year one for a lot of our viewers?
He could be a guy that sneaks up on fantasy managers if he lands in the right situation. I don't know. A lot of people are projecting him at the late in the first round, early second round in the NFL draft. No effing way, guys. Insane. An NFL player team drafts him in the first round. What are we doing? Nonetheless, I don't know. He brings three things that matter in fantasy. I'd say explosiveness in space, receiving upside, and efficiency on limited touches. Okay. He's not a volume back, at least not right away in the NFL, but he's the type of player who can carve out a role as a change of pace option, and earn more work as he proves himself. PPR formats, he has a real value because of how natural he is as a pass catcher. Why do I have him lower than consensus? Like I said, a lot of people project him a late first round pick. I think his projection is an error. He needs the right scheme, the right usage, the right offensive structure to maximize his skill set. Other backs in this class bring rarer traits or more universal projection. I think his ceiling is definitely tied to scheme. His game is built on finesse and not force. His long speed is good, but definitely not special. And his pass protection is a definite work in progress. And other players I just think have rarer traits than he does. But if he does land in a creative offense that values spacing and uses the running back in the passing game, I think he can absolutely become a fantasy contributor and potentially a weekly flex option with upside. But I don't think he's the RB1 that everyone is thinking he is. So
honestly, I would agree with that. I don't think any running back necessarily is a day one RB1 outside of Jeremiah Love in this draft. So I would agree with that. Yeah. But I do think in the right situation, as you said, he could be really dynamic.
Yes.
And so we talk about player comps. The one that I gave him was also somebody who I felt like was very relied upon where he was playing at. And that is Felix Jones, a throwback player, but Felix Jones.
Okay.
Somebody who was kind of sneakily good, sneakily twitchy, had good vision, good burst. Was not maybe the most like household running back name ever, but was just dynamic and efficient with the touches that he got. And so I think a great landing spot for him, for Price, would be the Denver Broncos. You talk about a running back room where they've got kind of that bruiser already in the running back, but they kind of need somebody that can help out in more of the passing game and maybe just be a little bit more of a change of pace back, like you said. And I think Price could be a home run hitter for them. He can be somebody that can just get the ball dumped to him from Bo Nix, get some clear green grass and just go.
Yeah.
And so I think that there's potential there for him to be a really, really good value piece. And somebody that could really be a huge momentum shifter for that offense. And so I think I like that one personally. And I don't think a lot of people are thinking running back for the Denver Broncos, but I think it could be a good fit.
I don't think. I mean, especially after taking RJ Harvey in the second round last year, and they just re-signed Jaleel McLaughlin to another contract. Not to mention J.K. Dobbins. I just feel like they have thrown all their eggs in the RJ Harvey basket. So and where people are projecting Jadarian Price to be drafted, I just don't know if that matches up perfectly, but I could see it.
Yeah. We'll see what happens, right?
We shall. I'm so excited.
Yeah. All right. Well, this is your last chance to scan the QR code for Fanatics.
Yep.
So please go ahead and scan it if you are interested in buying anything, hats, gloves, sweaters, jerseys, anything like that. Because we're going to get into our next sponsor ad. So whether you are searching for a baseball autograph by your favorite World Series slugger, a signed football by an iconic Hall of Famer, or the jersey of a world-famous soccer star, you've come to the right place. Here at sportsmemorabilia.com, we, the web's leading source of authentic sports memorabilia, you'll find more than 500,000 authentic products from nearly every professional sports league, team, and players. Not only will you find your next prized sports possessions with ease, thanks to their superb customer service and tremendous site experience, you'll have the satisfaction and peace of mind that every product listed comes with a complete certificate of authenticity and is fully backed by sportsmemorabilia.com and their lifetime authenticity guarantee. So go ahead and head to sportsmemorabilia.com to get your collection started today. Again, that is sportsmemorabilia.com, or you can scan the QR code in the top corner of your screen.
Nice.
Yeah, dude, we are so lucky that we've got so many great sponsors here at the
Seriously.
Inside Edge Network.
Yep. That is the new QR code there for sportsmemorabilia.com.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, guys, just scan that and you can go over there and check out. I mean, I can't really pan my camera. It's really messy.
I see plenty of memorabilia all around you.
I have probably 200 autographs at least in this man cave. I was obsessed before I had kids. Yeah, there you go.
Yes, I'm a sucker for collecting cards, so I like this ad that we and sponsor that we've got.
Sorry. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I've gotten one or two things on sportsmemorabilia.com, but I'm definitely going to check out and get some more stuff because I got some quality autographs from there. And you get the COAs, the certificate of authenticity. I cannot talk today.
Authenticity.
Yeah, so it's just proof that, it is a legitimate autograph. So what do you have to lose, guys? Especially if you're a sports fan or a collector like me, go check them out for sure.
Yeah. All right, number 5.
Number 5.
Number 5. That would be
SpongeBob one.
Kaytron Allen, running back from Penn State. So our second Penn State person. Yeah, I don't know, Moss. We've done a lot of other running backs, but I like this one a lot. Where is he ranked for you?
He's my RB4.
He's my RB3. Look at us. We're
Right
in
there.
agreement
Nice.
here.
Yes.
Yeah, I really liked his tape a lot. He was somebody who I was a little unsure of, but once we started getting ready for this episode, I was like, no, he's much better than I actually remembered him being. So give us a little bit of a glimpse of who he is. What was his college career like? Who is Kaytron Allen?
Dude, I've been on Kaytron Allen for several years. I've mentioned this a few times throughout the episodes, but I'm in a C2C fantasy football league, so that's college to Canton. So you draft college players and then farm them into a dynasty league into the NFL once they get drafted. And I've known about Kaytron Allen for years, and I love this dude. I love him. He is one of the most dependable, steady climbing backs in this entire class. He came to Penn State from IMG Academy in Florida with ton of pedigree. And even though he shared the backfield with Nicholas Singleton, a running back that we just covered, he never played like a second option at Penn State. He carved out his own identity. The more physical, more controlled, more consistent runner of the two, I would say as well. His production backs that up. 2022, 167 carries, 867 yards, 10 touchdowns. He also had 180 yards through the air and a touchdown. 2023, 72 carries, 902 yards and 6 touchdowns. Also had another touchdown through the air. 2024, huge jump here, 220 carries, 1,108 yards and 8 touchdowns. 18 catches, 153 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And then last year, sharing the backfield still with Nicholas Singleton, 210 carries, 1,303 yards, 15 touchdowns, 18
Jeez.
catches, 68 yards. 4 straight years of reliability, efficiency, and physicality. He never had a down season at Penn State, even sharing the backfield with my RB3 in this draft. He never disappeared. He never lost his role. He just kept stacking production, kept refining his game, and kept proving that he can handle volume. Coaches loved him because he was the stabilizer of the offense, the guy who always made the right read, always finished forward, always brought toughness to the offense. I love Kaytron Allen, man.
Yeah, I do too. He's just, I feel like, a very decisive runner. He's like, nope, this is where I'm going, and I'm going to go now. And
and I'm going to beat you there.
Yep. And it's just really cool to see on the tape. So we talk about archetypes, molds. How would you describe him? Because he's electric, I feel like, on tape, but I don't know what his mold is.
He's, I would say, a classic interior grinder with modern polish. He's built low, dense, compact, and runs exactly like he looks. He is square. He is balanced. He is hard to knock off his path. The type of back who thrives in the trenches, gap, duo, inside zone. That's his playground. That's where he loves to be. He's not flashy. He's definitely a space-driven runner. I think he's a technician as well. He wins with footwork, with leverage, discipline, patience. He's the guy who turns a block 3-yard run into 5. He's the guy who converts 3rd down and 2 without drama. He's the guy who keeps an offense on schedule. He fits the mold of a physical early down workhorse who can, I don't know why I said that weird, workhorse who can handle volume and wear down a defense over 4 quarters. I did forget to mention he is 5'11", 216 as well. So
yeah, so good size frame, but not maybe the biggest guy, but good size frame.
Right.
So when we're talking about him transitioning to the NFL, what do you think will be one of his biggest challenges?
Biggest challenges for him. I don't think he's the big play threat that a lot of teams love. He's not going to outrun safeties or, flip the field with long runs. His receiving ability is also functional, but he's not a route expansion candidate. He's a reliable check down option at most, and not necessarily a mismatched weapon. His biggest challenge in the NFL, I think, will be proving that he can be more than an early Don Hammer as well. He needs to be versatile. He needs to be dependable, and he'll need to show that he can contribute on passing downs for sure. So, but he's got fantastic, elite strength. He's got, great balance through contact. He's got fantastic footwork leverage. His vision is great, especially in tight spaces. He's probably one of the best pass protectors in this class as well.
Yeah, I like that. I think when you mentioned the balance, though, that was one thing that I also forgot to mention earlier about his tape. He'll get hit, but still maintain his balance and keep his feet under him without getting out of control.
Right.
It's truly, I think, a great strength that not a lot of running backs have in this class. So talk about fantasy football. How can he be productive in year 1 for people?
I think he's the type of back who becomes a fantasy staple because he's predictable in the best way possible, I would say. He's a touchdown scorer. You saw that in college. Yep. His frame and running style scream goal line usage. He's a volume-friendly back. He was trusted in Penn State. The coaches trust him. He didn't make many mistakes, if any, and he earned his carries. So that's huge. I think he's efficient as well. He doesn't need explosive plays to produce. He grinds out and gains steady yardage just the way he plays. He's durable. 4 years of consistent production at Penn State tells you everything you need to know, I would say. I don't think he's, the league winning archetype player, like a home run hitter, of course. Yeah, but he's the kind of player who gives you RB2 numbers every single week. And if he lands in a run centric offense, I think he could flirt with RB1 production. He's my RB4 because he brings a high floor, translatable skills, a style of NFL coaches love, He may not be flashy, but he is reliable, and he's going to be reliable for a long time in the NFL.
Yeah, I agree. He is a definitely trustworthy running back that coaches will love. So player comp that I've got for him, I was actually kind of hard pressed to find somebody that matched like his play style. But I think the best one that I could come up with was Kyron Williams and the Rams.
Ooh, I love that. Give me
Somebody
Kyron
who-
Williams as Kate Allen. That'd be sweet.
That would be great. But somebody who's just reliable and somebody that the coaches love. He's got good balance, good vision. I think Katron Allen is a little bit more decisive of a runner than Kyron Williams is.
Right.
I think he's better at planting and going and hitting a hole and going vertical and not going horizontal. I think Kyron is very good at going horizontal on the field and finding and beating people with speed. But I think Katron Allen will be much better at like going downhill and getting to the hole and beating people there. I think the ideal landing spot for Katron Allen is going to be in an offense where it may be a little bit more focused on the pass game to start, but they don't have really much of a running game, and he can kind of be that reliable piece that coaches will like, hey, we need 2 yards, go get the first down, he'll get 5. And so I think the Minnesota Vikings would be an ideal landing spot for him. You talk about a dynamic passing game that they have. They just brought in Kyler Murray to be the quarterback, most likely. I think he could be a really good dynamic running back for that room to help them A, in goal line, but also B, to just be somebody, hey, I'm going to go get 4 yards right here to get us to 2nd and 6, help our offense keep the chains moving, and keeping their offense on schedule too. And so I think that would be a really great landing spot. He would get a lot of red goal line work, red zone work, and probably score a lot of touchdowns. And so I think it would be a perfect landing spot.
Maybe a little muddy waters, I'd say. I mean, Jordan Mason's there. They just re-signed Aaron Jones, and we saw what those two guys mixed together in a backfield looked like. So I think he'd have to probably win outright, which I don't know if he would his rookie year, but in that offense, especially with Kyler and the receiving options, maybe Hockenson will take a step up after a disappointing year. I think they'll definitely need a more dynamic running back, and Katron Allen could be that guy. So
yeah, and they need a young running back because they're getting old in that position.
Old and hurt, brother. Yep.
Yes. All right, our last player, number 6.
Number 6.
Number 6. This is Emmett Johnson, running back from Nebraska. Whew, I liked Emmett Johnson. All right, what you got for him on your big board?
What was yours?
I want to hear yours first, but mine was number 5.
Nice. All right, yeah, mine was wide receiver. Wide receiver. He's not a wide receiver.
He's a running back.
Running back. You said what was he? 5 on yours?
5.
Yeah, he's mine 27.
I knew you were going to rank him so low. How is he so low on your list?
Let's talk about it.
All right, well, let's talk about it. All right, so he's a running back for Nebraska. Let's hear what his college career was like.
Yeah, 5'10" and a quarter, 202, ran a 4.5 640. Emmett Johnson he's got a polarizing evaluation in this class. I think his resume looks fantastic on paper, okay? And his rise at Nebraska was impressive. He came in as a lightly recruited back with a reputation for quickness and creativity. And he worked his way into a major role through sheer development. His production tells a story. 2023, 90 carries for 411 yards, 2 touchdowns. 2024, 117 carries for 598 yards and a touchdown. Also had 2 receiving touchdowns and almost 300 receiving yards. And then 2025 is where he really broke out. 251 carries, 1,451 yards, 12 touchdowns, 46 catches, 370 yards, and 3 touchdowns in the Big Ten. That's a great season. That's
great numbers. Yeah.
That 2025 season is probably the one that put him on the national radar. It definitely did. Yes. Nebraska leaned on him heavily, inside, outside, passing game, everything. And he delivered. He became their spark plug, their perimeter threat, their best option in the open field. He's got great work ethic, according to coaches, and they praise how quickly he absorbed coaching. He's a player that grew every year, and his confidence clearly matched his production by the time he left Lincoln. So,
yeah, I agree. I like him a lot. He was a very smooth runner, I thought, on tape. His change of direction was just I thought really easy and fluid on tape, especially this last year. And it just seemed like he was gliding while he was running.
Yep.
I like the way that he ran the ball. So when we talk about player molds, how would you define him?
Gliding is the word I would say too. He's a space-driven back with a smooth gliding style. That's a great way to put it. He's not built to bang between the tackles 20 times a game. That's not his lane at all. He's at best when he can stretch the defense horizontally, read leverage, and then accelerate through daylight. He fits the mold of a modern change of pace runner, someone who thrives in the outside zone spread and misdirection based offenses. His lateral agility is his calling card. He can string together cuts, manipulate pursuit angles, slip through tight spaces, and while keeping his balance. He's the type of back who complements backfields rather than anchors it. Give him space, give him angles, give him opportunities to create, and I think he'll reward you. So.
Yeah, I agree. And I think if he goes to the right landing spot that I've predicted for him, I think it could be really beneficial for that team and that offense. So what would be some of his weaknesses as we look at him transitioning into the NFL?
Yeah, so he's not built for heavy interior volume. David, I am struggling today, brother.
It's okay. It's been a long week.
Over 200 pounds. He doesn't have the power profile that consistently break tackles or push piles in the NFL. His long speed is fine, I would say, but it's definitely not special. He's more quick than fast, and his pass protection is a definite work in progress. He is willing, but it's not great. His best challenge will be if he can carve out a consistent role without being typecast as a situational player, I would say. He needs the right scheme and the right usage to maximize his skill set. Why I have him as running back 27. I think his frame limits his early down production. Like I said, his long speed is not super special at all.
Yeah.
His contact balance is above average for his size, but average to above average is not great for the NFL, and his pass production is not great. His projection is narrower than others in this range. I think he fits best in a rotational space player. I might lose power. Sorry.
I hope not. I saw that too. But
yeah, sorry about that. If I do, we're close to the ending here. He's a change of pace back with receiving value. Others in this tier, I think, offer more versatility and dominant traits. I think his role depends heavily on scheme. So.
Yeah, that's fair. So when I talk about the player comp that I've got for him, I need you to understand I like him a lot, and it does not seem like you like him a lot. So keep that in mind when I say this guy.
You're good.
But the player that I've compared him to would be LeSean McCoy. Don't you dare do a spit take.
Not coffee, no. He's not LeSean McCoy, brother.
It changed direction with ease, break tackles. He just looks smooth and glides on the field. I thought Shady did that a lot, especially when he was playing for the Bills. Somebody who was just kind of that good change of pace back, but eventually worked his way into that RB1 category.
Yeah.
He was so just efficient and smooth with the ball. I think Emmett Johnson has that potential to reach a ceiling like that. It just might be in a certain specific role and on a certain specific team. So that brings the ideal landing spot that I've got for him to the New York Giants. You have already got Cam Skattebo there, who can be your kind of more downhill runner, go between the tackles, hit people with his skull. Like, he will go run through a brick wall. Emmett Johnson is going to be the guy that comes in, changes the pace up, and makes people juke them out of their shoes. He will be the change of pace that I think will help get that running game back on its feet again after Saquon Barkley left. And be somebody that can be really dynamic in that offense. So
yeah, he could be like the Keaton Mitchell to Derrick Henry in Baltimore.
Could be, maybe even a little bit more.
In terms of fantasy, though, I do think he has real PPR upside. I do think he's one of the better receiving backs in this class.
Yeah.
He is explosive in space. I mean, give him angles and he'll produce chunk plays. I just don't think he's a volume back. I think he's a complementary piece, definitely not a bell cow. And like I said, that scheme is imperative. He needs a scheme that, runs outside zone, spread, misdirection. That's where he thrives, and that's contingent on where he goes. If he lands in a creative offense that values spacing and uses the running back in the passing game, I think he could be a fantasy flex with upside. But if he lands in a downhill, gap-heavy scheme, he's going to struggle to carve out a meaningful role. He's my RB27 because I think his projection is narrower than the guys ahead of him. The right situation is going to be the most important thing for him, especially in fantasy football.
Yeah, that's fair. It'll be interesting to see what happens.
Some people have him as RB2, which I just don't see it.
Yeah.
But, I mean, off of 1 year, I don't know.
That one year was dynamic. Don't get me wrong, but I agree with you. That may be a little ambitious, but I digress. All right, we got one last sponsor read to get through, and we'll call it a night after that. But
Yeah.
Are you looking for an energy drink that does not crash your day? Well, I'm here to talk to you about Dubby Energy Drinks. Clean energy, bold flavors, no jitters, and no crash. It helps you lock in and stay focused. See why people won't shut up about Dubby at dubby.gg. That is the actual website for it, dubby.gg. There are over 15 flavors to choose from. Be sure to use the promo code InsideEdge10 to save 10% on your order. Again, that is InsideEdge10 to save 10% today.
Yeah, again, guys, if you are rocking with the show, please do us a massive favor and hit all of our socials. Like David said earlier in the show, we are everywhere. We are on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, at The Commish Couch, and on Facebook under The Commissioner's Couch Podcast. Every one of those pages will take you to our website that's linked and pinned, thecommissioncouch.podbean.com, and that link takes you straight to our hub where you can find us on everything. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, Player FM, Listen Notes, Podchaser, Boomplay, Podbean app, everywhere. Click the platforms you use, follow the show, subscribe, drop a 5-star rating, leave a review, turn on notifications, and set episodes to auto download. Also, please again follow us on all socials at The Commish Couch, and please again just show us some love. Even doing a couple of those things help us out so much more than you know.
Mm-hmm.
And if you play fantasy football, I say this every single week, guys. Or you just love the game, you're going to want to stay plugged in. Let David and I be your competitive edge all season long. We're going to win some championships together, guys. Once again, a huge thank you to Monster Moments Photography as well. Monster Moments Photography is a husband and wife wedding photography team based in Cleveland, owned and operated by myself and my wife, Ryan and Hallie Mosser. For the past 10 years, they've captured more than 100 weddings across Northeast Ohio and beyond, always working together as a true two-person team. Their style centers around authentic, emotional storytelling, documenting the real moments between two people in love and creating images that feel natural, comfortable, and true to the couple. Rooted in Northern Ohio, but inspired by their travels, Ryan and Hallie bring a warm, personal approach to every wedding day. Their work blends experience, consistency, and a genuine passion for helping couples relive their best day through timeless photography. Learn more at monstermomentsphotography.com. That's MOSSOR, momentsphotography.com, right there.
It is on the screen, so go ahead and go there. But yeah, as somebody who just got married in the last year, they are great at what they do. They made me and my wife look beautiful on our wedding day, and I mean, it wasn't hard to do.
You were so beautiful, David.
Oh, well, thank you.
I loved you in that dress. Stupid.
All right.
Well, okay, guys. That wraps up the first week of the running back room. And what a way to kick things off. This position always reveals something different about the class, and tonight was no exception. These 6 backs force us to look at the details that matter. How they see the field, how they accelerate, how they finish, how their traits actually hold up when the game gets fast and physical. This is the part of the draft cycle where the boards start to take real shape. You can feel the tiers forming, the separations happening. We're so excited to continue. We're going to bring this to you every single Thursday. We're not just listing names. We're not building we're building standards. We're building a board that actually means something, and we're nowhere close to be done. Next week we stay right here in the running back room, and the next wave of prospects bring a completely different set of styles, roles, and projected challenges. More power, more speed, more specialists, more guys who can carve out real NFL jobs if they land in the right system. Next week we're going to be going over the running backs. Damon Claiborne, the running back out of Wake Forest, Seth McGowan, the running back out of Kentucky, Le'Veon Moss out of Texas A&M, Jaden Ott out of Oklahoma, Mike Washington Jr. out of Arkansas, and Roman Hemby out of Indiana. So if you missed any part of this journey, quarterbacks in weeks 1 and 2, wide receivers 3, 4, and 5, or tonight's breakdowns, go back and catch up. Every episode builds on the last. Every evaluation adds context. And if you're trying to dominate your fantasy football leagues, guys, or just understand this class better than anyone else in your circle, these shows are your roadmap. Last week I was sick. We were unable to go live. We did get the last 6 wide receivers on our boards to make it 18. Yesterday it was pre-recorded. We have that up and running on all socials. Go check that out because I promise you probably have not seen it because we didn't go live and it was not on Twitter live. So go watch that. It's awesome.
It's
the
really
guys
good,
that
yeah.
we break down, this wide receiver class, like David said earlier, is really deep, and we probably could have gone 3 more episodes just on the position.
Oh yeah.
But we wanted to break down at least 18. And next week we're going to continue with the second week of running backs. A huge thank you to my guy David Cahoon. Follow him on Twitter at DavidCahoon24. My name is Ryan Moster. You can please, follow me on Twitter at DynastyCLE. We will see you next Thursday live at 7 p.m. as running backs week 2 takes center stage. Season 2 keeps on rolling, and the deeper we go, the better this class gets. And we're so excited. We will see you guys next week.
See y'all next time.